to the sun. He burned up the world with a heart on fire and tempted the stars when he hit their line. Now everyone wants to touch the golden boy. Now everyone wants to touch the golden boy. For myself, being an old fan as well, it's got a sort of flavour of what the Stranglers sounded like originally. I'm not saying it sounds, it's not contrived to sound like that, and it's not written to sound like that. The songs are not structured like that, but it has actually come out like that because we played together. We played this stuff live in the studio and so on and so forth. But it's got the mood, it's got the attitude, and somehow, I mean, when you all get together, Jet's got an unmistakable sound, JJ's got an unmistakable, everybody's got their style, and I'm kind of different, and John Ellis is a little different than Hugh, but it's got all those elements there, I think.
We try and make albums differently, we've always strived to be different each time. I don't think we always succeed, but that's the aim.
They make melody to support his word. He's a new high priest of the seen and heard. They're sanctified, sealed to the pew, trumpets like a prick for another while the birds string side. Now everyone wants to touch the golden boy. Now everyone wants to touch the golden boy.
We've tried to do everything over our 20 years history, and I think we've done most things. This one was one of those that we can recreate in a live situation, so we'll certainly be doing that, and we shall certainly be touring with it. And we've always been pretty hard working. We've always worked and toured. You may not have seen us in England in the 20 years, but we've been around the world many times.
Well, there goes the girl in the heart. She saw me going up and down. She saw me going up and down. Walking on the beaches, looking at the fishes.
We're a lot older, but our philosophy is the same. I mean, we never really could see how we could get to the end of the week. It was so difficult in those days. And when you get 20 years down the road, you still realise that, it could all fall apart tomorrow. So, we're quite philosophical. We just, as long as we've got ideas to contribute, we do it. And as long as we feel we're not struggling to write songs, we still actually enjoy doing it.
Well, there goes another one just lying down on the sand dunes. I better go take a swim and see if I can cool down a little bit. You and me, woman, we got a lot of things on our mind. Walking on the beaches, looking at the beaches. Well, I got the notion, girl, that you got some suntan lotion, that body of yours. Spread all over my feelings, baby, that feels real good. All this skirt, lapping up the sun, light me up. Why don't you come and light me up? Walking on the beaches, looking at the beaches. Well, you just take a look out there. Is she trying to get out of that clitoris? Liberation for women, that's what I preach, preacher man. Walking on the beaches, looking at the beaches.
I think you've got two situations. You can either go into something and try to mimic what's already, what A, I admired, and B, was already there, which I don't think you'd last very long doing, because the original is always the best, So I kind of did my own thing, and it was like the spirit of the thing, the attitude, like I said before, that carried it carried it across. I mean, you'd look a fool to copy somebody else. You know? So if you do what you do the best you can, then if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose, I suppose.
Golden brown, texture like sun, lays me down. With my mind she runs throughout the night. No need to fight, never a frown. With golden brown, every time just like the last. On her ship, tied to the mast, to distant lands, takes both my hands, never a frown. With golden brown. Temptress, through the ages she's heading west. From far away, stays for a day, never a frown. With golden brown.
I voted for the Stranglers in the A papers poll 1 year, and I said the idea is the best bass player, Stranglers is the best band. You know, I meet people all the time who you know, probably been closet Stranglers fans, or you know, somebody from the band's been their hero. It's very odd, but it's also it's a very interesting sort of marriage. I'm using that word. Because I think we've all got the same attitude towards everything. It's really odd, you know. I mean, it goes back to cynicism again. It's not cynicism, it's like honesty, and we know what we have to do in this situation. But we won't be tied by what other people are, you know, say, and we're not going to do this just because everybody else is doing it. We're not going to do that, you know. And I've always felt that way. I don't want to have to go on stage in a frock, you know, and pink sunglasses and stuff like that, you know, and be Mr. Show Business. You know, I think you have to entertain people. There's no doubt about it, and I think we're very entertaining.
Nobody's more surprised than the band themselves. As I said earlier, we didn't expect to get to the end of the first week, and that hasn't changed. We're really surprised. The only mitigating factor, I suppose, is that we've always been prepared to work hard and to do what you have to do to survive, and it's worked. So that's the moral of the story,
well,
I suppose. I suppose we must have done one or two things that were right along the way, but you know, how can you analyse what makes a career successful? You know, I don't know.
Well, the Stranglers did more dates, I think, in the first couple of years than there were days in the years, which is, you know, these things don't happen. You know, like that's kind of coming back. But you know, we've been working for 4.5 years. We've been selling out gigs from England to USA to Japan. So.
Now children are weeping in 100 towns. The Spitfire word shot the pilot down, down, down. They shoved a rag down a golden throat and put up a column where the poor dog choked.
Certain people in the press, you know, are trying to build up this Britpop thing, which is admirable. I mean, it's admirable that A, people want to go out and watch bands again, and B, kids are picking up instruments and you know, emulating former writers of, you know, for example, Ray Davies, you know, and also the Stranglers. I think that's nothing but healthy. I mean, God forbid should we, for my personal taste, should we turn back to computers and computer-generated music, which has its place, and it's not like I just don't personally like it, unless it's done very, very cleverly, like someone like Tricky. I mean, I really like that stuff, but I don't necessarily think that in 10 or 15 years you're going to be talking about the same kind of thing. I don't know, you know, things go in cycles, don't they? I mean, we've got stuff that sounds like the Small Faces meets the Kinks now. We've got Blur, you know, a poor example.
Column with a poor dog show. You know, everyone wants to touch the golden boy. You know, everyone wants to touch the golden boy. You know, everyone wants to suck the golden boy. Everyone wants to love the golden boy. Everyone wants to talk.
It's always a challenge, and until the challenges cease to reach their fruition, then I guess I'll continue doing it, and I guess the rest of the band will too. I mean, it's what we do, it's what we want to do. That's why we're doing it. One wouldn't have been through all those years of trials and tribulations and disasters if one didn't really want to do it. So really, that's the reason I want to do it, and it's what I've chosen to do for a living. And it really is as simple and basic as that. Whether you succeed and you make music that people want to listen to, that's in the lap of the gods, I expect, or the talent that God's given you.